Yeah, what's good with y'all? This episode was recorded a couple days ago. Today's January 17th, aka Ali Day, the GOAT Day. Y'all enjoy the podcast, some deep topics. Revealing improved information now. MLK about the Gov Shutdown. Still, currently, we're going to talk about the R. Kelly situation and the seriousness of the allegations of it. Also, we're going to talk about the realness of the situation in general. And also, for the final event, happy birthday to the king. Peace to God. Rest in peace, MLK. Happy birthday, God. Yeah, man.
Happy
you
birthday.
already know what time it is, man. Man, how you feel? Man.
Feeling good. I'm feeling good. Cleaned up my area around me. I'm trying to just get a good look in life.
Yeah. I agree with that, man. Same with me, man. You know, I cleaned up as well. That's just how situations play out. But before we get into it, I know we're gonna chop it in as soon as we play the clip afterwards. But do you have any opinion on this government shutdown? Like, what? How do you? First of all, how do you feel about the people that say that they feel like that people shouldn't disagree with anything that the president says, no matter what?
Wait, so you're asking that people are saying that you shouldn't disagree with the president? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm asking, how do you feel when people say you're un-American if you disagree with anything the president does or says, no matter what?
Factually, I think that's incorrect. But even just based off history, that's not the case. People disagree with the presidents or anybody. But in general, if it's bad ideas are bad ideas and horrible ideas. Like, you can be shitty, you're just shitty.
And that's a fact. I can't deny that at all. And I believe, you know, a lot of Trump supporters. Do you have any less remorse for them that said they are Trump? They like Trump. Well, they at first it was Hillary, and then they became Trump. How do you feel about those people?
Hold on. So to clarify, you're asking people who like Hillary then like Trump?
Correct. The people who was against Trump and was pro-Hillary, but Hillary took the L, obviously. But how do you feel about the people that said they want to side with Trump strictly because of the fact that he is the president of the United States and they are patriots, quote unquote?
Like a political bandwagonness?
Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing. Are you serious?
It really is a thing. That's what I'm saying. They use the excuse or, you know, the reason and whatever, however you want to interpret it. They use the excuse or the reason and say that I have to support anything American. So I have to support the president no matter what because he's our president. So don't disrespect our president. Even though they was saying they disagree with what he stood for to begin with and all that. And also, do you you don't have to share if you want, but I don't really mind. But I know it's a forbidden law for people to say don't share your political party. But first, answer the question.
My political party?
Yeah, before, you know, I'm asking, you know, first before you get into that. People ask, I'm asking strictly, they say, oh, fuck Trump, Hillary, Trump is this, you feel me, he's a piece of shit, he's an asshole, he's racist, and then they, you know, Hillary lost, so now they are Republican and they pro-Trump because they say their reasoning of their excuse is he's the American president, so we have to support him no matter what because we are we are American?
First of all, I'd say, to answer your question, I don't really have a political party that I affiliate myself with. I'm just a guy with varying ideas. But as for your other thing with the bandwagon is, I've actually never seen that. It's really funny that that's real. I've never met anybody that was actually like that.
Damn, hell no, you bluffing, bro. Real talk. Bruh, yo, that ass, bruh. Yo, I mean, I can't really say you'll be surprised nowadays. Ain't nothing really too, you feel me, mysterious or unknown. Yeah, man. But, you know, we already heard the interview. The shit that he said, if anybody does, you heard who is gonna affect the most. And you know, I'm gonna ask you again after the clip play, which is about to get played in a few minutes. But you heard who's gonna affect the most. That's pretty much what we already predicted, correct?
Hold on, say that again.
Like I said, we already listened to the clip that we about to play, which is the interview of Trump talking about why the government is shut down. It's still shut down, and the clip is already out, so a lot of people already heard it. But the government's still shut down. It's just a refresher, and we still didn't chop it up on the podcast. You know what I mean? And we always feeling under the weather, but you know we feeling a lot better as well. And you know. But anyway, man, before we get into hold on, man, I'm just gonna go over the NBA. The Timberwolves played the 76ers. I think the 76ers gonna get that dub. It's gonna be crazy because of Jimmy Butler, the whole beef with Karl Anthony Towns. If they scrap, yo, it's gonna be hilarious, bro. Cause my man Dirk was ready to fight Karl Anthony Towns the other day. You feel what I'm saying? You got the Suns versus the Pacers. Pacers are home. You notice the Pacers about to do them dirty. You got the Thunder versus the Hawks. I got the Thunder beating the Hawks. You got the Heat versus the Bucks. The Greek Freak. I think the Greek Freak can get that dub. You got the Warriors versus the Nuggets. Last time I checked, the Nuggets. The Nuggets still has the number 1 seed in the West, and the Warriors is number 2. And then you got the Bulls versus the Lakers at 10:30. So I might be able to catch that game for real, as far as the Lakers game. Like the second half of the quarter, I might be able to catch that game. But the Lakers is home again. But right now, the Lakers is not. We ninth out west, bro. That's crazy, you know. And everybody knows that LeBron has been hurt he's been hurt since Christmas. So everybody already know that. The Raptors.
LeBron is hurt?
Yeah, LeBron been hurt since Christmas, bro. He got hurt versus the Warriors game. We was up 14 and then he got hurt.
Oh.
So everybody, all the fuck boys was happy online that he got hurt, man. So they got their wish, I guess.
Is he coming back soon or not for the rest of the season?
We don't know, man. But Brian, you'll be back, man. We need you, man. We just dropped 9th. We was 4th, man. But let's get into Trump talking real quick. Revealing approved information now, episode 6. Listen to this boy talk.
My fellow Americans, tonight I am speaking to you because there is a growing humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border. Every day, Customs and Border Patrol agents encounter thousands of illegal immigrants trying to enter our country. We are out of space to hold them, and we have no way to promptly return them back home to their country. America proudly welcomes millions of lawful immigrants who enrich our society and contribute to our nation. But all Americans are hurt by uncontrolled illegal migration. It strains public resources and drives down jobs and wages. Among those hardest hit are African Americans and Hispanic Americans. Our southern border is a pipeline for vast quantities of illegal drugs, including meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. Every week, 300 of our citizens are killed by heroin alone, 90% of which floods across from our southern border. More Americans will die from drugs this year than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. In the last 2 years, ICE officers made 266,000 arrests of aliens with criminal records, including those charged or convicted of 100,000 assaults, 30,000 sex crimes, and 4,000 violent killings. Over the years, thousands of Americans have been brutally killed by those who illegally entered our country, and thousands more lives will be lost if we don't act right now. This is a humanitarian crisis, a crisis of the heart and a crisis of the soul. Last month, 20,000 migrant children were illegally brought into the United States, a dramatic increase. These children are used as human pawns by vicious coyotes and ruthless gangs. 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted on the dangerous trek up through Mexico. Women and children are the biggest victims, by far, of our broken system. This is the tragic reality of illegal immigration on our southern border. This is the cycle of human suffering that I am determined to end. My administration has presented Congress with a detailed proposal to secure the border and stop the criminal gangs, drug smugglers, and human traffickers. It's a tremendous problem. Our proposal was developed by law enforcement professionals and border agents at the Department of Homeland Security. These are the resources they have requested to properly perform their mission and keep America safe. In fact, safer than ever before. The proposal from Homeland Security includes cutting-edge technology for detecting drugs, weapons, illegal contraband, and many other things. We have requested more agents, immigration judges, and bed space to process the sharp rise in unlawful migration fueled by our very strong economy. Our plan also contains an urgent request for humanitarian assistance and medical support. Furthermore, we have asked Congress to close border security loopholes so that illegal immigrant children can be safely and humanely returned back home. Finally, as part of an overall approach to border security, law enforcement professionals have requested $5.7 billion for a physical barrier. At the request of Democrats, it will be a steel barrier rather than a concrete wall. This barrier is absolutely critical to border security. It's also what our professionals at the border want and need. This is just common sense. The border wall would very quickly pay for itself. The cost of illegal drugs exceeds $500 billion a year, vastly more than the $5.7 billion we have requested from Congress. The wall will also be paid for indirectly by the great new trade deal we have made with Mexico. Senator Chuck Schumer, who you will be hearing from later tonight, has repeatedly supported a physical barrier in the past, along with many other Democrats. They changed their mind only after I was elected president. Democrats in Congress have refused to acknowledge the crisis, and they have refused to provide our brave border agents with the tools they desperately need to protect our families and our nation. The federal government remains shut down for one reason, and one reason only, because Democrats will not fund border security. My administration is doing everything in our power to help those impacted by the situation. But the only solution is for Democrats to pass a spending bill that defends our borders and reopens the government. This situation could be solved in a 45-minute meeting. I have invited congressional leadership to the White House tomorrow to get this done. Hopefully, we can rise above partisan politics in order to support national security. Some have suggested a barrier is immoral. Then why do wealthy politicians build walls, fences, and gates around their homes? They don't build walls because they hate the people on the outside, but because they love the people on the inside. The only thing that is immoral is the politicians to do nothing and continue to allow more innocent people to be so horribly victimized. America's heart broke the day after Christmas when a young police officer in California was savagely murdered in cold blood by an illegal alien who just came across the border. The life of an American hero was stolen by someone who had no right to be in our country. Day after day, precious lives are cut short by those who have violated our borders. In California, an Air Force veteran was raped, murdered, and beaten to death with a hammer by an illegal alien with a long criminal history. In Georgia, an illegal alien was recently charged with murder for killing, beheading, and dismembering his neighbor. In Maryland, MS-13 gang members who arrived in the United States as unaccompanied minors were arrested and charged last year after viciously stabbing and beating a 16-year-old girl. Over the last several years, I've met with dozens of families whose loved ones were stolen by illegal immigration. I've held the hands of the weeping mothers and embraced the grief-stricken fathers. So sad, so terrible. I will never forget the pain in their eyes, the tremble in their voices, and the sadness gripping their souls. How much more American blood must we shed before Congress does its job? To those who refuse to compromise in the name of border security, I would ask, imagine if it was your child, your husband, or your wife whose life was so cruelly shattered and totally broken. To every member of Congress, pass a bill that ends this crisis. To every citizen, call Congress and tell them to finally, after all of these decades, secure our border. This is a choice between right and wrong, justice and injustice. This is about whether we fulfill our sacred duty to the American citizens we serve. When I took the oath of office, I swore to protect our country, and that is what I will always do. So help me God. Thank you and good night.
All right, man. So, revealing improvement information. Memo, what's your thoughts first, bro? So help you God.
I think a lot of people, for some reason, the president included, I guess it's not surprising.
Okay.
They talk about the women and children getting hurt on the way to the U.S., but nobody talks about why they're fleeing. Like, and a lot of times it's because of the history of the U.S. and meddling into other countries and destabilizing their governments. Like, and that just leading back down. It's like, it's a chain effect.
Right. A lot of people discusses that all the time. That it's like a divide and conquer, especially the weak. Like you expressed what they did to our brother in Haiti, and it's terrible right now. And even what is it? I don't want to get it incorrect. Is it China? Just giving them fake rice? So someone is giving them fake rice. I
think
don't know
heard
if it's
China.
Korea. If it's not China, you feel me? I apologize, yeah, man. But if it's one of them doing that to Haiti, whatever, giving them the fake rice. But my whole issue of the matter of the wall, this is stolen land, and I don't think nobody should be, you feel me, forced not to come. You feel me? So I think this shit is bullshit to begin with. This is my opinion, though. You feel me? And a lot of people was laughing because they say, the woman is suing because I think the woman who her child died, and she's suing them for a certain amount, and people laugh because they said it's not gonna happen. Do you think
I have a question, actually.
Yo, what's up, bro?
You have a problem with the wall, right? Would you say that's the same reason you have a problem with, like, say something like a Mount Rushmore?
What do you mean?
Like,
That sounds like a good question.
like they're bad because, like you said, it is stolen land, and those could be sacred sites for people who lived there before.
Yeah, right. Like,
So is that the same reason why you don't like the wall? Or is it more than that?
no, that's
That's like part of it.
That's 100% the reason, because of the fact of the matter is bullshit. Especially if these people are trying to get out of a situation of pain and torture, and they just want to live their life. I don't think nobody should tell nobody how to live. You feel me? And that's number one. Especially if they coming in peace. If anybody coming in chaos, that's a different story. Absolutely, you feel me? So, you feel me? But people feel like anybody to say you shouldn't you shouldn't be against the wall, then you're automatically un-American. You're not a patriot and shit like that. Niggas be talking that goofy shit. You know what I mean? But that's a good ass question, man. Like, Mount Rushmore, that's the shit with the presidents, right?
Yeah. Did you know that there's the line between Canada and the U.S. is like in the forest part. They just have a straight line of cut trees
No, I
that
really.
stretches for miles.
I mean,
Do you think that's the same thing, or is that different?
If that video, if that movie on Netflix is real, when the white motherfuckers was selling the weed, and it was pushing it back and forth throughout Canada and shit like that. Oh shit. Okay. This looks cool. Oh, alright, damn. This the trail. So, you trying to say that a lot of people use this trail to get here?
No. This is just the border. Like, one side is the U.S. and one side is Canada. I'm saying, do you think that's the same as like Mount Rushmore or the wall?
Oh, I don't even know, man. That's a damn, bro. That's a good ass question.
I feel like on some level it is.
That's a damn good question. Memo got me, man. He got me, y'all. Memo revealing the proof information now. I got man by Memo. So, do you have any remorse for the people that's in effect? Cause people, do you know what WIC is?
Don't know what is
WIC.
WIC?
Yeah.
No.
I think it's women, infant, and children. It's programs that help give them food and stuff like that.
Actually, actually, I do know what that is. I see it around on the street.
So they said WIC is being terminated in some places. Do you have any type of remorse? Food stamps is for anybody. It could be for homeless people. I got food stamps myself a couple times. When you homeless, I had got like 250.
I honestly feel like, because Also, did you know that the government due to the government shutdown, that the FDA is basically shut down? Did you know that?
What's the FDA?
The FDA is the Food and Drug something.
Oh, you talking about like inspecting to see if the food is clean or not?
Food and medicine.
Yo, that's some crazy stuff.
And I feel like this is dumb
yo, so you mean to tell me they can get mad to the point that it could be some bad shit. They can be like, all right, fuck it, yeah, it's good. I don't give a fuck. And that shit can just come in and get imported, and the whole time because they're not getting compensated, they don't give a fuck about their job, and they can have some poison shit on the low. They can just pass something that they know is toxic.
Look. And this is all for what I think was just a political gesture in the first place. Like, I don't think I think Trump saying he wanted to build a wall was just him hyping up the crowd in the beginning. And I don't really think he actually thought he would. I feel like now he just has to do it just because he's about to get out of office. And it's really fucking with people's lives.
There's some 1400 stuff. My lord. That shit crazy, bro. Oh, you trying to say you getting impeached?
I'm saying his term is almost over.
Are you talking about because of the FBI investigation that he was supposed to be getting incarcerated? Because a lot of people say he's gonna get a second term.
I was just saying because his term is almost over. I don't know if he will or not get a second term.
Okay, I just heard a lot of people say he was getting a second term for real. I know you never heard that. Oh,
I have.
Okay, all right.
You're always gonna hear that with anybody that's the president. Oh, they're gonna get another term because people like them.
Nah, not Tricky Dick.
Or people are cynical.
I don't think people like Tricky Dick Nixon. Did he get impeached? Who got impeached?
I think a few people did, actually.
Yeah, man. So, and also you didn't hear that about Hillary Clinton. Chill, man. We're not gonna get Me Too. It's just a joke. We all can joke nowadays. Remember, was an artist. He also does stand up. That's one of his jokes. He wanted me to break it for y'all. So I did what I did, But remember, how you feel about that self-hate, man?
I feel like. Why do I complain? I feel like until now I never noticed.
Waking up, drink a wine, trying to flush away my sins. The split roll to slow me down, this it gets my mind spins. Waking up, smoking weed, trying to burn away my sins. Drinking my red wine to mellow me out, just in case my mind spins. Another day, another crown, now let's begin. Another day, another crown, now let's begin.
They tryna put me in the box, I just leave that shit. Stick and move, flow too smooth. One jab from the dude, which means you turn the cast, it's clay, you no longer exist. Ironically, I'm also my Iron Mike. If I see green, it's on sight. You damn bitches ain't worth shit. Run flow nasty, like your favorite porn star or any famous hood thot bitch. I'm your babe's pace shooter, they never miss a hit. Rather with AMac or whatever, the rise from the oppressed, showing the wicked side of darkness to the evil oppressor. When I'm sober, it's always too much reminder of time wasted, trials and tribulation, followed by pain and love and temptations. For my birthday, my only wish is for my loved ones to be in better living conditions and money situation.
My sins, the split roll will slow me down, just in case my mind spins. Waking up, smoking weed, trying to burn away my sins. Drinking my red wine and mellow me out, just in case my mind spins. Another day, another crown, now let's begin. Another day, another crown, now let's begin.
Let me be, I'm just trying to free my mind. I'm trying to take it one step at a time. You call my phone, but I hit decline. Shit, I'm running out of time. I got patience for the low. If you didn't know, I feel the demons, they all around you. They pouring into your skin. You like a ball of sand, ready to drag me down to the abyss. I hate you, motherfucker, hope that you feel this shit. Hit you with a full clip, bet I won't miss. When the storm hits, I'm just speaking my mind, but the game flip. Brother, give it some time. I'm not talking in riddles. riddles or rhymes. We gotta wake up or we just die. We dropping like flies. I remember living in a cul-de-sac, wearing all black, trying to find myself. I think I need some help. Fuck the help, I'ma get it by myself. Cause I'm used to being by myself. God, I need some help.
Waking up, drinking wine, trying to flush away my sins. The split roll to slow me down, just in case my mind spins. Waking up, smoking weed, trying to burn away my sins. Drinking my red wine to mellow me out, just in case my mind spins. Another day, another crown, then let's begin. Another day, another crown, then let's begin.
The beginning of a new chapter. It took me a couple of years of life lessons in order for me to decide what I'm really after. Life lessons such as going through mouth depression, gun possession, drug lessons, along with a list of unlawful confessions. This here's top jewel of life lessons. While rolling 9, way from 9 to 9, born 95, on a nigga raw paper. While my OG doing lines, drinking Coke 45. Old school shooter on Scotty and BS like Jeffrey 45. Always pulling out 45. Is he a legend because he's 45 with 2 9s? Or did 18 years for 85 grams and 2 dimes? Or because everyone knows he has lines to blow your mind, but you judge him all the time because he's too busy to sniff a coke line.
Flush away my sins. The split roll to slow me down, just in case my mind spins. Waking up, smoking weed, trying to burn away my sins. Drinking my red wine to mellow me out, just in case my mind spins. Another day, another crown, then let's begin. I'm a big talker with the list and all that shit. Right, got me feeling right.
Someone about to go wrong.
Can you please put the air conditioner? I got baggies on my face. That boy watch it late. This is not how I want to be driving. I told you that. What that came on? It's gonna be tight. This is not tight. This is unhealthy.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. And it is the straight to the root that people think dealing in hate.
With the upper. No, listen as I speak. Paint your skin, give you feel like enough. The spouse give you like don't care. You hate your people with slavery, but you can't rush in that slavery. No, not my life's been unsplatter. Your whole brain, all the feelings that we see from my people in America. I wonder how are we still sane? Most of us off the cuckoo rocks, smoking J's, puffing on that powder back to take us away from the harsh reality. From Maryland, where this the home of the slaves, home of the heroin, home of the place where everybody gotta pray to Yahshua if you tryna make it to the next stage. Eclipse like a pair of gum or the moonlight. I shine bright, I'm out of sight. That bird box don't be packing right. Angry birds, I Twitter all the time. I'm upset at night. New millennials wishing they could fight, but it's not the same era of the civil rights. I just have to accept that and try to have my own form of combat. I can no longer tolerate that. Black lives matter. That's to say it, we need to make somebody's skull crack. Like the cover of Rockstar, bully my way through. I wonder if you care about me or I'm just a piece of shit to you. Probably number 2, the opposite so irony. That's why you gotta keep your iron with you. I feel like Tony Stark's man. Beat that nigga ass and take him out of space like you did Spider-Man. I am Thanos, one snap and always goes all pay. Stay alive and understand it's deeper than what this flesh say. It's deeper than the mind and brain. Yahshua will make a way. Just continue to be humble, aggressive and brave. Lord have mercy. I know you hate yourself, but I love you.
We are oppressed.
I know you
we
hate
are exploited.
yourself.
We are downtrodden.
But
we
I
are
love
cement that you bleach.
I love you.
Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No.
Gotta grind and stay humble. Every day it's a lot of troubles. Every day it's like a fumble. Dancing like with the devil. Gotta get it on my own. Mama told me be strong. 18 like I'm young, but I'm doing it like I'm grown. Every day I'm getting money. It's a lot of cake on me. A lot of family hating on me. Little girl just trying to shine. A youngin' on her fucking grind. I gotta get it, waste no time. Yeah, I'm with fuck it. Hold on, wait, fuck it. Killer go in again. Fuck it, I'm doing my man. Spody, gotta get it what it is. Little nigga, but I'm doing it. Doing it like I'm fucking big. And I get it again. Fuck up a check, but I'ma get it right back. Get it out with my man. Fuck it, do it with my fam. Lot of niggas hating on me. Pose for the fucking gram. Gotta get it what it is. Talking shit, handle your biz. Yeah, killer gon' get it. I'm just gonna do this, gang.
I was really from them trenches. I was jumping in fences. I was ducking them knocks. I was fucking them bitches. I was fucking them up. Giving them niggas stitches. When my niggas catch a body, throwing it up in dishes. I'm just trying to get this money. I'm just trying to get this paper. I'm just trying to get this money. I'm just trying to get this paper. I'm just trying to get this money. I'm just trying to get this paper. I don't care about a bitch. I don't care about no hater.
I don't care about a bitch. Running that check with my mans. Fuck these hoes. These niggas do it for the gram. Half these niggas fake. I stay in my own lane. Doing it with my team. We doing our own thing. All we know is getting money. A lot of haters and it's on me. A lot of fake, but they phony. I don't give a fuck with my lane. Doing my own thing. Shout out to my Bodie. Shit get crazy, they know me. Killer gon' go crazy. Getting money, I'm not lazy. On my own, I got lazy. Raised got any kids. Half of y'all my babies. I don't even give a fuck. I'm on my own and I'm fucking stuck. But I'm getting this money. A lot of cake and I'm hungry.
I'm just trying to get this money. I'm just trying to get this paper. I'm just trying to get this money. I'm just trying to get this paper. I'm just trying to get this money. I'm just trying to get this paper. I don't care about a bitch. I don't care about no hater. I'm just trying to get this money. I'm just trying to get this paper. I'm just trying to get this money. I'm just trying to get this paper. I'm just trying to get this money. I'm just trying to get this paper. I don't care about a bitch. I don't care about a hater.
Alright, man. We've been improving information now. What more can I say? How you feeling today, man?
Feeling good. You know, speaking of presidents, I looked it up, and it was only 2 presidents that was impeached.
Okay.
And one of them was Bill Clinton. The other one, I forgot his name.
Oh, dang, I forgot all about that. I forgot all about BJ. I forgot all about that motherfucker, man.
That guy. But it wasn't me.
I forgot all about it. Put her here.
No, what the fuck is that?
It's supposed to be Bill. Put her here.
What are you saying?
Put it here. Put it here. Don't put those legs here. Yeah, man, fuck that shit, yo. They took food out of Haiti's mouth. They took bread from Haiti. Bread is bakery. Bakery is money. Money is what you need to survive in the world. Sadly, yeah, man. Fuck they talking about, man. But man, LeBron hurt. But the NBA is on fire right now, bro. But the Lakers dropped to 9th, so this is madness right now.
Did they just lose to the Cavs?
Yeah, Lakers lost to the Cavs over there.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is the worst team in the NBA.
The worst team in the NBA?
No exaggeration.
What?
That is the worst record. And then the other night we lost to the Knicks, who is the second worst in the NBA, who has the second worst record. Today we play the Bulls, who has the third worst record in the NBA. So if we lose to them, it's like, what the fuck? And we home, bro.
Did the team just fall apart after LeBron left?
Kinda, sorta, man. Yeah. Listen. I mean, you could be the judge. When LeBron was there, first of all, before
come out for both the Cavs and the Lakers.
Oh, for the Cavs, definitely. This happens every time. When he went to Miami the first time he left in 2011, well, 10/11. The Cavs became a lottery team. That's how they was able to get Kyrie Irving from Duke. You feel what I'm saying? And Kyrie Irving, you know who Kyrie Irving is and what he became to the franchise and shit like that. And now the Cavs, when he left this year, the Cavs became the worst team. You feel me? And the Heat, check this out. When he went back to Cleveland the first time when we got the championship and all that, the Golden State rivalry, the Heat had D-Wade and they had Chris Bosh, and they didn't even make it out of the playoffs. You feel what I'm saying? So that's just the LeBron effect when you leave. You feel me? And other players do step up and they do their job, like R.A.I.N and D-Wade, Chris Bosh, CB. At times, Kyrie did his job. Everybody, you feel what I'm saying? Kevin Love, Richard Jefferson, everybody who stepped up and did their job. You feel me? Mo Williams. But at the end of the day, this Lakers team, Kuzma, he does his job. Lonzo was okay. Lance Stevenson, I think he always does what he does. JaVale McGee does what he does. But we got the Warriors coming up soon as well. But man, it's some real shit going on in the NBA. Hopefully we get Anthony Davis, man. But yeah, man. Yeah, lost to the Cavs, man. But LeBron didn't hear him come back, man. So, and then he voted #1 in the All-Star game. So it's like, yo, and that's in February.
How old is he?
His birthday was the 30th, I believe, or the 31st. And he's 34. Yeah. Class of 2003. But we gonna get into the R. Kelly situation. Revealing improved information now. Check it out. Most of y'all already here doing it.
It just kept going and going and going. And I want my story to be heard so people could take this situation seriously. Why didn't anyone know this? We all know this. No one cared because we were black girls.
You had to pretty much agree to it, no matter how demeaning it felt.
Harrowing stories alleged by dozens of women accusing the R&B legend of various forms of abuse, told in the Lifetime docuseries Surviving R. Kelly.
It's been over almost 2 years now, and we still haven't seen our daughter.
The 6-hour explosive series has been watched by more than 18 million people.
R. Kelly!
Law enforcement is now involved in 2 states. Just today, protests raged outside Kelly's Chicago studio, where Chicago police have now visited.
Black Girls Matter!
Kelly still denies all accusations. The man behind anthems like Ignition and I Believe I Can Fly,
I believe I can fly,
has been plagued by allegations of abuse and sex with underage girls stretching back well into the 90s.
They swept it under the rug, but now they're like going back and saying, maybe that was true.
Tamara Simmons and Jesse Daniels are 2 of the executive producers behind the docuseries.
When you see these patterns emerge that date back to the 90s over the course of years saying the same thing, what they went through was real.
They say in light of the Me Too movement, it was time to reinvestigate some of those claims.
Summer of 2017, there were a few articles that had surfaced that detailed new alleged victims. Parallel to that, the Me Too movement started to take off. Once we started to get in touch with some of these women and dig a little bit deeper into their stories, and then it ballooned to many other people.
You have this, powerful person that's beloved in the African American community, and then you have a victim that nobody cares about.
It shows you how rich and powerful men can get away with a lot of things.
Amidst the outrage in response to the allegations in the series, stars like Jada Pinkett Smith are now asking how Kelly continues to sell albums despite the controversy.
I really don't want to believe that it's because black girls don't matter enough.
Or is that the reason?
More than 50 people were interviewed for the docuseries.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Including more than a dozen alleged victims who claim they were physically and sexually abused, stretching over months and years. Many who say they were just teenagers when they first met the star.
And he was being really, really nice, and he asked me how old I was, and I told him I was 17.
Young girls are impressionable. Like, he's R. Kelly.
Kelly's attorney says that these allegations are nothing, adding, if Mr. Kelly had done anything wrong, you would expect to hear facts, not the pitchfork posse. As for the investigations, they will find nothing because he has done nothing wrong.
I'm here today to encourage victims of sexual assault or domestic violence related to these allegations to please get in touch with our office.
After the docuseries aired, Cook County, Illinois State Attorney Kim Fox issued a call for anyone with any information to come forward.
We don't have the ability to deal in rumor and innuendo. We have to deal with facts and evidence. And the most critical information in these cases come from those who believe that they have been victims of a crime.
With the Me Too movement and with social media in particular, we are going to be seeing more of what we just saw, which is investigators appealing to the public and saying, you too can come forward. That too is a significant change from what we've seen before.
On Tuesday, Faith Rogers, who also appeared in the series, appealed to a judge in New York to expedite her case. Rogers is suing Kelly for sexual battery and willfully, deliberately, and maliciously infecting her with herpes, and claims that Kelly mentally, sexually, and verbally abused her when they were together in 2017. She was just 19 at the time. Kelly never filed a response with the court.
It was consensual, but it was consented by intimidation. I look back and there's an iPad and I just turned my head away. I didn't want my face to be on it.
Accusations of sexual misconduct have dogged Kelly for 20 years. In 2008, he was acquitted of charges of child pornography surrounding that infamous video that prosecutors claim showed Kelly allegedly urinating into the mouth of a minor. Both Kelly and the young woman denied that they were the ones in the tape.
It's sort of the drug of celebrity, and I think one of the things that made these cases difficult to prosecute is because R. Kelly was this beloved icon in the black community.
In an interview with music journalist R.A.I.N, taped after his acquittal, R. Kelly struggles to answer what many viewed as a basic question.
Do you like teenage girls? When you say teenage, how are we talking? Girls who are teenagers. 19? 19 and younger. I have some 19-year-old friends.
Long before that tape emerged, R. Kelly had made his desire for younger women well known. His marriage to R&B darling Aaliyah was annulled after it was discovered the singer was only 15 at the time of their marriage. But for Angelo Clary, none of the stories of Kelly's behavior hit home until he says it happened to his daughter, Azriel.
I just felt like it was not going to happen to me.
He says Kelly mentored his daughter, but eventually trapped her and will not allow her to return home. His daughter says she's with Kelly voluntarily.
Last time I saw my daughter was 2016, after her graduation.
A story that sounds eerily similar to what Timothy Savage says happened to his daughter, Jocelyn.
And then we got a call from her, and she told us that she was with R. Kelly. We was like, what are you doing? You're in college.
My daughter is being held against her will.
He appealed to the public last year in a bid for help, alleging that his daughter is being held against her will and has been sexually abused by Kelly. Just this month, he filed a police report detailing a call with one of Kelly's managers. As a police officer listened on, the manager threatened to ruin the Savage family if they participated in the Lifetime series. In another report filed last spring, Savage says that a separate man threatened his life and told him that his daughter was being held by Kelly. His daughter Jocelyn, filmed by TMZ, denied that she was involved in any sort of sex cult.
None of that is true. None of that's true. All that is false accusations.
The Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney has confirmed to ABC News that since the docuseries aired, they've been in touch with the Savage family and have tried to contact Jocelyn to no avail.
There are statutes of limitations when it comes to sex crimes, when it comes to child sex crimes. Is that going to be a problem, the statute of limitations for sex crimes? Yes, but perhaps not for all, because if you look at the New York case, she says this happened, I think, in May 2017. That wasn't too long ago.
Do I believe that he should serve time in jail? I do.
You would like to see him arrested?
Yes.
For Kelly's ex-wife, Andrea Kelly, she believes justice is long overdue. She told me late last year that she was a victim herself for 13 long years of emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, all at the hands of Robert Kelly. She and the singer have 3 children together. Did you ever fear for your life?
Yes.
You thought he might kill you?
Yeah.
Your kids?
No. But me, definitely.
Because at the end of the day, we don't have to keep talking about the storm. It's about how you come out of it.
Andrea says that now she feels that she and her story are being used for something greater. But what have you learned about yourself through all of this?
I know now that I'm being used for something greater than me.
Nobody just cares about the black women that speak out, especially the black community. It's the black community that bashes the black women that speak out about abuse.
We've been watching them since they came forward in 2017, tried various attempts to get media attention, but it doesn't take hold. And again, I think that goes back into this idea that black girls don't matter.
For many of these women, even as Kelly's fate remains unclear, their solace comes in speaking out and knowing that now people are listening.
Alright, so remember, this shit is a fucking handful. It's a headache. It's chaos.
Yes, it is.
It's sloppy. It's Robert fucking Kelly. What more can we say? Everything's out the closet on this one.
Right. You know, we was watching the Boondocks the other day, and I was just watching the R. Kelly episode.
Apparently, the whole fucking world was, bro.
I just happened to be watching it.
Hey, yo, that ass.
And it's funny.
Well, listen, I hate taking credit for shit like this, but I watched it before the little Survivor R. Kelly shit, because you already know I only watch Hulu, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and you
might
see
have just been
Boondocks,
watching it and I called it.
Facts, bro. I started from the beginning, but so before this shit blew up, I was watching the episode, and I never forgot about the case, because I remember this shit came out, I believe, when I was in middle school, as far as the case with the girl in the video of him peeing on her and shit like that, because Dave Chappelle made fun of it. Hey, man.
But yeah,
hilarious, man.
He got away with that, and then people just became okay with him being there, and then now it's revealed that he's an even more piece of shit of a person. But he's keeping people there. He's manipulating people.
Who you talking about R. Kelly?
Yeah.
That ass. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. And do you feel like that he's paying people off, like to shut their mouth?
I wouldn't doubt it.
And how would you feel if a lot of these people say that basically, why the fuck didn't they call the cops if you say your daughter went missing? You stupid as shit. Because a lot of people, believe it or not, are still on R. Kelly's side, and they're still riding with R. Kelly, and they won't stop riding with R. Kelly, and they will still ride with R. Kelly.
People who say that, I don't think they think about that's probably already happened many times. If this is going on for this long of a time period, it's probably not the first time someone called the cops, you know? And since they're saying that they want to be there because they're being manipulated,
facts,
they're not like hostages.
And also,
technically,
I don't want to go unnoticed, but let's not forget racist America, that Kevin Spacey is also had on court trial, and he was in court last week. You know the case?
I don't know the specifics about it, but I just
vaguely
saw something about it.
Here you go, my brother. No, because a lot of people forgot, and we just not gonna bash Robert Kelly, but we already been talking about it. It's just the fact that for whatever reason, everybody, yes, and I say everybody, not just our community, because people say, oh, black people, black people, yeah, shut the fuck up, because the whole world, that's including, they said FBI investigated investigation on the launched investigation, whatever. So it's not just us who decided to take this seriously. So shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. I was reading the article. Who are you telling shut the fuck up? Why are you?
I was telling everybody shut the fuck up that when I say that all black people want to protect them, and it's not. Listen, it wasn't some niggas, but don't say all men protected them. And I don't want to throw all women under the bus, but a lot of our women was protecting them. Okay? When Chris Brown was, they said he was beating people the fuck up.
I think it's because he's an artist that makes art that they love and make memories with. But at the same time, I feel like you can't acknowledge that somebody did something horrible.
Yo, even his fucking daughter turned, bro. His daughter said, basically fuck my dad. You know what I mean? He's lame. He ain't shit to me. But yeah, man. So you see the Kevin Spacey situation? Fuck Kevin Spacey. Like I'm saying, that's not gonna change. Period. I just wanted to say, y'all can also share the same energy, and also fuck y'all for trying to bring up Michael Jackson. They trying to do a I Survived Michael Jackson documentary. We don't want to see that shit, bro. Leave him the fuck alone, bro.
Where'd you hear that?
Bro, it's a rumor. It's dead ass. It's out there, bro. How do you feel about this? You think you should? That man is dead. He's deceased. You think they should? You think that shit should be valid? The R. Kelly situation makes sense, but do you think this shit should be valid?
I actually don't know a thing about the Michael Jackson case.
You don't know nothing about the Michael Jackson case?
I mean, I know not the specifics of it. I never actually looked into it.
Listen, man. Basically, they blame Mike and say he tested on some kids.
I mean, I know that
because Mike was a little strange, and he didn't really have a childhood. You feel what I'm saying? So he wanted to embrace being a big kid, or whatever, and just having fun or whatever. Do I agree with little kids sleeping in the bed shit? No. Unless it's your own kid, nah, I don't know about none of that. You feel what I'm saying?
Do you think he did that?
No, I don't. I can't say that man did that. That's his hearsay. You feel me? He say, she say type shit. Yeah. And I don't even think that shit's fair. And the FBI, the feds, whatever, they came in there and they actually took pictures of this man's dick. You actually can go on the internet and find pictures of Michael Jackson's penis. Because they needed it for the trial. Yeah. Wow. Like that ass, man. Yeah, man. It's a sloppy case, man. Yeah, man. Sloppy case. And you know, they said because he brought the Beatles catalog. He brought the fucking Beatles, nigga. Can you imagine that? Buying the Beatles.
Michael Jackson?
Yes, he brought all of their copyrights. He brought
them?
Yes, everything.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because he found out that's where the money is. and owning stuff like that. So Mike just said, alright, I'm about to buy that. And then he's about to go buy Sony. So yeah. Yeah, man. Mike the truth though, man. But anyway, like I said, so our final thoughts on the situation before we go to our next topic, which is the man in the honor, MLK. Do you think R. Kelly should be incarcerated? What do you think should happen? Because he already was on trial before, but he beat the stuff that he was alleged before.
Yes.
But now that this came out, like the woman said, the statute of limitation. Okay.
I feel like this shouldn't be. I feel like this shouldn't be a question.
No, I mean, bro, you know we have to ask the question and shit like that because you have people still on side. You watch the episode of Boondocks. It's amazing how Boondocks' art and work can still be held accountable to this day. You have the people that still go neck and neck and still gonna fight for this man till the death of it. But also, did you hear that Chicago issued a permit that he can't perform nowhere? And also, his label froze him out, and he can't release no music.
I did not know that.
And and you heard Jada Pinkett came out. If Jada Pinkett come out and talk, it's over, son. It's over, my nigga. It's over, boy. He ain't gonna say nothing back. He don't want Will. He don't want Will get busy. Yeah, man. So, yeah. But like I said, I still don't believe that we should publicly bash our brothers and our sisters, regardless of the matter. Because Kevin Spacey is looking clean as fuck right now because of R. Kelly's sloppy ass. But
wait, are you saying we shouldn't acknowledge that R. Kelly is fucked up?
No, I didn't say that. But hold on.
What do you mean?
Let's get into MLK real quick. We're filling up information now. Martin Luther King.
A struggle for decency, which characterized our struggle for 10 or 12 years, to a struggle for genuine equality. And this is where we're getting the resistance, because there was never any intention to go this far. People were reacting to Bull Connor and to Jim Clark rather than acting in good faith for the realization of genuine equality.
Do you think white people in this country, and I'm talking about non-segregationists, people devoid or thinking they're devoid of racism, do you have any idea of what they want the Negro to be in America?
Well, it depends on the level that we are talking here, because I think you have to make a distinction between the people who are genuinely and absolutely committed in the white community on the question of racial equality. And I must confess that I think they're in a very small minority. I think the vast majority of white Americans will go but so far. It's a kind of installment plan for equality, and they are always looking for an excuse to go but so far.
Why are they looking for the excuse? What is it about the Negro? I mean, every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black?
That's a part of it, and that grows out of something else. You can't thingify anything without depersonalizing that something. If you use something as a means to an end, at that moment you make it a thing and you depersonalize it. The fact is that the Negro was a slave in this country for 244 years. That was a willful thing that was done. The Negro was brought here in chains, treated in very inhuman fashion, and this led to the thingification of the Negro. So he was not looked upon as a person. He was not looked upon as a human being with the same status and worth as other human beings. And the other thing is that human beings cannot continue to do wrong without eventually rationalizing that wrong. So slavery was justified morally, biologically, theoretically, scientifically, everything else. And it seems to me that white America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma, and that can never be overlooked. So I think these things are absolutely necessary. The other thing is that America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps, but it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
Apart from wanting to live better, which all of us want to do, to raise one's children in a better way, to be better, does the Negro in America know what he wants to be?
I'm convinced that almost every Negro in this country, other than those who have been so scarred by the system that they've become pathological in the process, and we all have to battle with pathology. Nobody really knows what it means to be a Negro unless one can really experience it. And I know we all have to battle with this constant drain of a feeling of nobodiness. But in spite of this, I think the vast majority of Negroes in this country know that they want to be people, they want to be men, they want equality, period. It just boils down to that. And we haven't been able to be people. We haven't been men because of all of the conditions that we've lived with and the syndrome of deprivation surrounding conditions, whether it's in housing, in the economic area, or in schools, or in the vicious credit practices that we face in the ghetto, and all of the problems of closed doors and constant defeats. But in spite of all this, I think we all know basically that we want to be men. We want to be persons judged not on the basis of the color of our skin, but on the basis of the content of our character.
But you know that many young Negroes don't want anything that smacks of the American white middle class. But do they want something that smacks of whatever is the black middle class? Or do they just not want bourgeois values, which after all are the basis of this democracy?
Well, I think we have to see what they are saying. I would be the first to agree that integration does not mean giving up everything that has an Afro-American taint, so to speak, a background. I think there are certain unique things within any culture and certain cultural patterns that when you get to the process of amalgamation can really lift the whole culture. And it seems to me that integration at its best is the opportunity to participate in the beauty of diversity. I think the other thing that we've got to see is that these young people are saying that there must be a revolution of values in our country. As Jimmy Baldwin said on one occasion, what advantage is there in being integrated into a burning house? And I feel that there is a need for a revolution of values in America, because some of the values that presently exist are certainly out of line with the values and the idealistic structure that brought our nation into being. Unfortunately, we haven't been true to these ideals, and many of the values of so-called white middle-class society are values that need to be reviewed and re-evaluated, and in a real sense they need to be changed. So I think the young people in the Negro community who are raising these questions are raising some very profound questions about our total society. In other words, they are saying that there must be a restructuring of the architecture of our society where values are concerned, and with this I would agree with. So in the quest for integration, I think we can offer our whole nation something, because there are three evils in our nation. It's not only racism, but economic exploitation of poverty would be one, and then militarism. And I think in a sense, and in a very real sense, these three are tied inextricably together, and we aren't going to get rid of one without getting rid of the other.
When you stood on the Lincoln Memorial that day in August, '63, and you said, "I had a dream," did that dream envision that you could see a war in Asia preventing the federal government doing for the Negroes, preventing the society doing for the Negroes that which you think had to be done?
No, I didn't envision that then. I must confess that that period was a great period of hope for me. And I'm sure for many others all across the nation, many of the Negroes who had about lost hope, saw a solid decade of progress in the South. And in 1954, which was, 64, 1963, 9 years after the Supreme Court's decision to be in the March on Washington, meant a great deal. It was a high moment, a great watershed moment. But I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future. But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think the realistic fact is that we still have a long, long way to go, and that we are involved in a war on Asian soil, which, if not checked and stopped, can poison the very soul of our nation.
Dr. King, even if there had not been a war in Asia, would you still not have had this nightmare insofar as the Negro movement for equality then touched on two things that the white community holds sacred: their children and their property?
Oh, I have no doubt that we would have encountered great difficulties, great problems of resistance if the war had not been in existence, so that I'm not going to say that all of our problems will be solved if the war in Vietnam is ended. But I do say that the war makes it infinitely more difficult to deal with these problems. When a nation becomes obsessed with the guns of war, it loses its social perspective, and programs of social uplift suffer. This is just a fact of history, so that we do face many more difficulties as a result of the war. It's much more difficult to really arouse a conscience during a time of war. I noticed the other day, some weeks ago, a Negro was shot down in Chicago, and it was a clear case of police brutality. That was on page 30 of the paper, but on page 1 at the top was 780 Viet Cong killed. That is something about a war like this that makes people insensitive. It dulls the conscience. It strengthens the forces of reaction, and it brings into being bitterness and hatred and violence. And it strengthened the military-industrial complex of our country, and it's made our job much more difficult, because I think we can go along with some programs, if we didn't have this war on our hands, that would cause people to adjust to new developments, just as they did in the South. They said they'd never ride the bus with us, blood would flow in the streets, they wouldn't go to school, and all of these things. But when people came to see that they had to do it because the law insisted, they finally adjusted. And I think white people all over this country will adjust once the nation makes it clear that in schools, in housing, we've got to learn to live together as brothers. I think the biggest problem now is that we got our gains over the last 12 years at bargain rate, so to speak. It didn't cost the nation anything. In fact, it helped the economic side of the nation, the integrated lunch counters and public accommodations. It didn't cost the nation anything to get the right to vote established. Now we are confronting issues that cannot be solved without costing the nation billions of dollars. Now, I think this is where we're getting our greatest resistance. They may put it on many other things, but we can't get rid of slums and poverty without it costing the nation something.
Alright, man, so you heard his speech, Martin Luther King, the guy, rest in peace. He's talking economics. He's talking being compensated, which is falls under the same thing. He's talking rights to be human. He's talking the unfairness of giving advantage to one over the other after one was forcefully working for it and dying for it, and the other didn't have to do shit for it but just be born and live. That do sound like the rich. I'm speaking to my people out there that's in them slums. Word up. But how do you feel right now, man, about MLK? Happy birthday once again.
Yeah, happy birthday, MLK.
Good timing, James.
Yeah, happy birthday. But I think it's interesting that he was talking about how slavery impacts pretty much all aspects of American life, and yet the people who benefit the most from those impacts of slavery refuse to see it as it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's also amazing. It's also deep, and also a lot of the key things that I'm pointing out. How so casually do you think secretly a lot of racist motherfuckers want to just casually say Negro, not necessarily nigger, because you know that's considered the racist shit. They be saying nigger, but this Negro, you feel me, was considered a terminology. Do you think that I wouldn't be surprised if a legislator decided, or a congressman decided that they want to use their full power to get into it for Negro to be a non-hate offense.
What do you mean?
Because it was, like I said,
hold on, what are you asking?
Before, we go back to MLK, this is a regular random thought. The word Negro was used so fluently.
It was used a lot.
Do you think that somebody in this period, a legislator, a congressman in a higher power, or even somebody that's a mayor in a small state will get it legalized where you can say Negro with no repercussions?
Oh, you mean like make a law that says you can say it without
any repercussions? Yes.
I think on the books that's the case with any slur, actually. Like legally, if somebody does anything to you, you can have a case against them. But socially, the government can't control how populations feel to a certain extent.
Okay. I dig, man. I was just wondering. But also, I must be honest. I used to get into it, and I used to be not like I wasn't on the tip like, yo, fuck Martin Luther King, he a bitch, he lame, I don't give a fuck about his dream. I wasn't on that type of tip, but I more so was pro Malcolm X heavy ever since I was a kid. Still am to this day. Got a picture and all that. If y'all seen the video to Voices, then y'all seen the Malcolm X. But anyway, I more so was more Malcolm X than Martin Luther King. And even so, y'all can even hear it on the tapes. I'm using it more. But this clip that I used for this podcast, for this episode, actually came from my page that I got because I love this speech and I love what he talked about and I love the hidden messages that he got. So I learned to mature and appreciate the value of Martin Luther King and appreciate him on just as much as the same level as Malcolm X. But I had to analyze it that they was just different men and they just handled their work in a different way. And then even it's also even clips that Martin Luther King Jr. is saying, I feel bad for telling my people to be nonviolent, even when my people's out here dying, it's hard for me to see this and witness this. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Initially, me too. When I started looking into it, I was the same way as you, and then I realized that, like you said, they were after the same thing. They were just two different people, so they did it two different ways. You know,
his legacy is something that, and it's sad because I know you might not know shit about his son, but his son is lame. He's considered Uncle Tom, and it's so fun. It's so funny that the irony is his son is considered Uncle Tom, and Malcolm X called Martin Luther King Uncle Tom. So his fat ass probably will try to use it in a debate, but no, fat motherfucker, you can't use it like that. Yeah, I'm only so angry because his dad stood up for our people, and I'm very passionate about our people. And his son is basically a fat, lame slob. He don't stand up for much. You can look him up. You know, man.
I don't know much about him.
Yeah, you can look him up. He lame. I mean, you really won't waste your time and shit. You won't waste your data. I don't know how your phone plan work. I mean, but yeah. You don't want to say his name though, but we know what we're talking about. But anyway, also, do you think Martin Luther King Jr. is portrayed very well in the movies? And also, my favorite thing about him, not like one of my favorite things, but one of the most dopey things in our history is that him and Rosa Parks actually was in cohetes with each other to make history. So I felt like that's very powerful, and I love the fact. And I actually have that picture, man. I love that picture, man. And it's just amazing to me, you know what I mean? Do you have any particular favorite moment? I know you said you was more so like me, more so favorable of Malcolm, so you might have more knowledge of Malcolm X. But as far as Martin Luther King, did you do what I did? Like, you feel me? Go into them crates, dig deeper, and then have a favorite moment.
Actually, no. Martin Luther King, I haven't even looked into him yet. I've seen some. I actually think I've seen one YouTube.
Don't blaspheme!
What? Alright. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Come on. You talk about I call you a bad host? What the fuck was that?
Go ahead, man. I'm saying blasphemy, but I'm just fucking with you, man.
How do you... I sound like fucking Fuzzy from Powerpuff Girls. I'm not property.
Yeah, I'm saying blasphemy, y'all. If people want to say that's blasphemous, that member was saying that they don't know much. You know, people will get mad about that.
No, I'm just being honest. I could sit up here and say I know everything about him. I've seen a few of his speeches, other than obviously I Have a Dream speech, but like, who the fuck, you don't know a person from the fucking I Have a Dream speech. You don't know all of their political views. You're not gonna know all of the political views anyway, but you're not gonna know like the bulk of them from one speech. And I feel like that's what sensationalized about Martin Luther King, and that's what you see in the movie, the march up to I Have a Dream. You see I Have a Dream, Martin Luther King. That's what's taught in the schools in February. I Have a Dream.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, you can't know a person off of that. And I haven't looked into him like I have, say, James Baldwin or Malcolm X.
I did. We talked about the Boondocks once on this segment, on this episode. How do you feel about the episode of Martin Luther King on the Boondocks? Was it offensive? Was it hilarious? Was it political? Was it educational?
Educational?
Yeah, like, was it something that was a hidden message in the episode?
I think the episode was about how...
Because it did have some key topics, like all streets named after Martin Luther King are supposed to be high crime streets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, how you feel about it?
I think the episode is, well, obviously it's written by Aaron McGruder, creator of Boondocks, obviously. It's satire. So he's supposed to be making fun of the current culture.
Shout out to Regina Hall, by the way.
Yes. And I think that the episode is about how we don't really appreciate, or we get complacent about where black people are, where we are ourselves. And so it's also about the clash of older generations with new generations. It's about how would a Martin Luther King, what would Martin Luther King look like today on Twitter? What would that even look like? You know what I mean? So on one hand, it's about something like that, but on the other hand, it's about how we're prioritizing these American ideals, like individuality is the best thing, individual.
On Twitter, I think Martin Luther King will use a rainbow emoji and people would think that he would be gay, but he would use a rainbow emoji to symbolize all colors are one, and he would have a lot of questioning to do on CNN, and then he would say, what does that have to do with it? You know I have a wife, and you know I smoke cigarettes. I like Newports sometimes, so... You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why you laughing, man?
Wait, hold on. In this world, is Martin Luther King
next door, bro?
Oh, that's next door. Is Martin Luther King in our time with Twitter or in his time with Twitter?
No, our time.
Our time?
Yeah, Twitter's in our time. They ain't had Twitter in their time, bro.
Okay. I was just saying like...
Yeah, it's just a little joke, bro. Calm down.
Hypothetical.
Yeah. Calm down, bro.
I'm calm. I stay calm.
So, any final thoughts on Peace to God, happy birthday, MLK?
I just think we should appreciate all parts of people.
Yes, sir.
And not just one show.
And we should have Malcolm X today as well. So, I believe May 19th, pussies. Malcolm X Day. But, remember, any final thoughts, man? And yo, is this weekend the tournament that's in America? Well, the English version? Because everybody's like, yo, forget waiting. Everybody I know already dipped on it. I know, the Broly movie dropped tomorrow. So, you got any quick thoughts on that? Cause you seen some of the
some
trailers, sneak peeks online. I know you did.
I've seen some clips. I know who's in it. I've seen the designs. I've seen some of the animation. It looks beautiful, except it looks good. But personally, I never really was a fan of 3D animation being integrated into 2D animation. Like specifically in anime, like in Gumball, that kind of thing works because that's its whole like thing,
right.
like very multimedia. But if it's done correctly, not correctly, but if it's done well and with finesse, then I feel like it'll be good. But if not, then it's just gonna be noticeable.
I'm upset because I believe that Piccolo's not in the movie. I know he was. I believe they listen, nigga. Piccolo get busy. Listen, I'm mad. Everybody out there, remember he's not telling me what Piccolo did in the Tournament of Power. If y'all want to comment and tell me what the fuck happened, if y'all snuck and y'all already watched it for yourself,
just have to wait and watch.
Cause they still,
it's part of the
they
experience.
still not. Yeah, man, it's still not going on. We supposed to watch the episode with Frieza, but that didn't happen. How it's
probably on there now.
So we had to watch that one. You feel what I'm saying? Majin Buu fell asleep. I felt like everybody was a real fan.
Forward to that too, huh?
Everybody wanted to see Majin Buu get busy.
Yeah.
My man Sean leaked that information for me though. I ain't gonna lie.
When?
Shout out to my man Sean. Sean leaked the information. Sean said
like a week before.
Yeah. My man KLM was in there, man. Oh, remember your real
quick. You know who's gonna be on the team?
No. I ain't know Frieza. I ain't know he was gonna ask Frieza, but he told me that Majin Buu was gonna be sleepy. So I said, damn, whoa, Frieza. I was shocked like everybody else was shocked when he said Frieza. and I really wanted to see the episode, but Mob Psycho is smashing right now.
Speaking of Mob Psycho,
I think it's getting all the attention, and I think that's gonna. You
speaking of
man, Mob Psycho is it's the truth. But real quick, speaking of KLM, why and why complaining, man? The process of it, the whole feeling of it. How you think KLM did? Yeah, man. I'm trying to ask you about why they want complaining, bro.
Come on, man.
Yeah, what you mean, bro?
Come on.
Listen, man. This I'm not Charlemagne, bro. This real over here, bro.
Man, you're not real.
No makeup, nigga. Yeah, man. But now, what you want? Go ahead, bro. What you want to on? Cause I know you want to ask me about the R. Kelly. I just don't know how long you want to structure. Cause right now we at an hour and 40.
No, I was talking about Mob Psycho. But speaking of Mob Psycho, I'm gonna go anyway. Speaking of Mob Psycho, the season 2 started, and we're already only 2 episodes in.
Right.
And it's not a disappointment.
Oh, you said 2 episodes? It's past 2 episodes.
No, this is the second episode just got updated. So next week will be the 3rd episode. But I'm saying animation wise, and story wise, and art wise, and
it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Right. I would have to agree. And when I first seen it, I was just watching it. I be drinking my wine, working on my music. The album is fire, by the way. Memo say he liked the beats. Yes. Of course, y'all know this is one of the beats on the album. So I was just watching it. Oh, okay, what is this? I thought Swim has a lot of good animation at nighttime. You feel me? So if you feeling nice at night, whatever you do, you feel me? Yeah, whatever substance you take. You know what I mean? But anyway, like I was saying. Mob Psycho is the truth, man. But you get into Bartel, man. Yeah. I was hypothetical about Bartel at first. It wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't feeling it just off the strength. Like, nah, nigga, nobody wanna watch that. But now I say, yo, that's my show. Bartel's the truth, bro.
Here's the thing with me.
He should be on Jump Force, by the way, man.
I've never seen the original Naruto. I think I've only watched a few episodes. I watched up to
the first one.
Yeah, part 1.
Yes, right.
So I don't really have an opinion on how that compares. But I don't see why people hate Boruto. But I've only seen 3 episodes, so I can't really say yet. But I don't really, because a lot of people hate Boruto.
Yeah,
I see it a lot, but I don't know.
Fact. You got any more topics before we close it out? I just don't want to get too long because a lot of people like, why your podcast be so long? They don't understand when you break the segments, it's the music that's in the interface, man. You feel what I'm saying?
Or you could just cut some of them up into.
Nah, never. I show love to the people that show love. And I know a lot of people also are YouTubers and they love taking the time out to actually listen to a whole podcast. Yeah. I do it myself with a lot of different other channels that I embrace, and that's to be on some cool tip. And I heard a lot of people say they play 2K to my shit, smoke to my shit, just chill, you feel me, vibe or whatever they be doing, man. And they said they fuck with it. And I appreciate what MLK line.
We don't care about
MLK LM is on there. You feel what I'm saying? How you say your name? Forget.
Spelled F-O-R-O-Q-E-T, right? And for some reason, a lot of people pronounce it Foroquet. But it's easier to imagine if it was F-O-R-O-K-E-T. So it's like Foroquet.
Okay, so how do you say it?
It's Foroquet.
Foroquet.
Ket. Not quet. I realized there's a Q.
Okay, I mean, I think, bro. So, any final topics?
I'm good.
Cause you wanted to ask me about the R. Kelly thing. Want to close it out because
I was just saying.
On break. We was talking about over the top.
I don't see why we can't acknowledge that R. Kelly doing terrible things.
No,
acknowledging, do something about it.
Peep game. Here's what I'm saying, bro. Here's what I'm saying. And also, recently, an old coach of mine, when I played football for the Eagles, Coach Alan Mitchell, is also being indicted on this case. You feel what I'm saying? And no, it's not R. Kelly case, but it's a second degree. What's the second degree rape? Something like that. So he's involved in that shit right now. So yeah, my man. So he's involved with that right now. But my thing is this: I feel like we should not bash people publicly, and no, I feel like we should. But if they don't, the people that's racist and shit, and the fuck boys, they bash our shit and our people, and then they try to connect the dots to say, oh, if he's like this, he looks like them, so they bad too. So I feel like when we bash them publicly, we just feed it into giving.
They're gonna think that anyway.
Correct. But I'm saying I think this is one of the causes of an effect type situations that leads into people thinking that though. You feel what I'm saying? And then also,
I agree that can do that, but I disagree in saying that it's not worth disregarding, because if there's people you're talking about, not having this example of R. Kelly isn't going to sway them into saying, oh, maybe one black person isn't indicative of all of them. No, they're just going to think what they think.
But listen, but also peep game. But also you have to take in consideration that people also can say, well, y'all supported this man for years, so y'all people is fucking stupid. So I'm just saying, I think people should just shut the fuck up for real. I think it's a little too late. But my thing is, for the
just
women,
because they supported him for a lot of years,
we didn't have force all that energy to make sure he gets taken down. And what about how do you feel?
I don't think that's the case. I just think it's getting a lot of attention. I don't think there's any extra effort.
Real quick, how do you feel about Aaliyah's mother?
Aaliyah's mother?
Yeah, because R. Kelly said he didn't know that she was 15, but Aaliyah's mother knew that she was working with R. Kelly. Aaliyah's uncle was the way that she had the connection to R. Kelly, but R. Kelly said he said, quote unquote, he didn't know Aaliyah's age. And do you feel like that he should be held accountable for that?
If he didn't know?
So you don't think that
I think he knew.
Marriage,
I think
bro.
He knew.
Marriage. So it's a government document which your parents has to agree on. You feel what I'm saying? So
hold on. You do realize that happened in the past, right? People were like 14 and you can get it signed off that you're married to this person. So I don't get what you're saying.
No, I understand. That's basically. Yes.
Also, hold on.
I'm asking, do you think Aaliyah's mom should be held accountable?
I'm gonna take a step back real quick. You said people have been supporting them this long, so it don't make sense to not do.
No.
They can do something now.
I'm not saying it like that.
Even if they haven't done.
I'm not saying it like that. I'm listen. When I be trying to speak, I'm only bringing up different ways people will try to attack us, try to attack our people, and try to say, well, a lot of people say that, man. And also, I see a racist. I seen a racist YouTuber. He be saying online. He said, hey niggers, how does it feel waking up being the same color as the piece of shit that I took this morning?
That's hot.
Yo, remember I'm laughing, bro. Yo, remember I'm laughing.
That's immature.
Why are you laughing at that?
Because I wasn't expecting how dumb that to be. For that to be.
Yeah, man, that's facts, man. That happened, man. But listen, man, R. Kelly. Listen, man. Damn. Episode 6. Happy New Year's. Do you think he could be behind bars with Bill?
I don't know.
How you think Bill Cosby's know, by the way? Cause you basically was like, fuck Bill. Damn. I still see people say, yeah, R. Kelly all day.
Just because they like his music.
And also, do you think it's ironic that all of the black entertainers that do these songs with R. Kelly, these songs automatically are trending now, and people are starting to clap at them, and they're trying to say y'all should be held accountable. Why would y'all work with this man? You've been doing this for years. You gotta know about it. Now they're trying to take them down as well. Do you think this is mysterious, out of the blue coincidence, or do you think this is strategy?
I don't think it's a coincidence at all. I don't know what's going on in Hollywood, but a lot of people talk about, that I've seen in interviews and appearances, they talk about how there's a lot of like pedophilia and sexual assault,
especially Disney,
and rape happening in Hollywood, and nobody says anything because the people who are doing it are powerful.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Those are only things that I've heard. But if that's true, then hey.
I dig. We might drop a podcast later on soon. Right now, MLK Day, whenever this drop, it might drop when I get off of work. So if it drop later on, that'll be 12 o'clock, which will be January the 16th. Right now it's the 15th. Yeah, man. Revealing improved information now. Peace and blessings. Yo, y'all keep being anticipated for that album. I love y'all who supported that Glorified Hatred tape. Yo, KLM got a tape.
KLM
on the way. Yo, Super Smash, I'm the best at that.
Sure.
That nigga crazy, man. Y'all be safe out there. It's snowing. We're gonna have another snowstorm in Maryland. Y'all stay warm. Episode 6. Appreciate you, my man.
All I know is roll, roll.